They say the course reveals your soul, but out here we do more.
My name is James Hicks, and I am the host of the podcast called Sand Save. Today's episode is going to begin on a different note, one that's personal, human, and universal. Before we talk golf, before we talk gear, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something many of us carry quietly. It's grief. When you lose someone you love, the world doesn't just pause. Life keeps moving, but you don't always feel ready to move with it. And if you're listening right now while navigating your own loss, I want to let you know you're not alone. There's a framework many people refer to when trying to understand grief. It's the 5 stages described by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. They're not rules, they're not a checklist. They're simply a way to understand the emotional terrain that loss can create. And importantly, these stages don't happen in order. You might move back and forth between them or feel several at once. The first stage is called denial. This stage is the shock, the numbness, the sense that what happened can't possibly be real. It's the mind protecting itself from being overwhelmed. Denial often shows up early, but it can return unexpectedly. Anniversaries, reminders, quiet moments. Then there's anger. This can be directed at circumstances, at yourself, at the world, or at the unfairness of it all. Anger isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It's a natural response to something that should never have happened. The third stage, which is bargaining, the if-only stage. You replay moments, imagine different outcomes, or search for meaning. This is the mind trying to regain control in a situation where control was taken away. Next is your depression, which isn't weakness. It's the weight of reality setting in. It's the quiet moments. The loss feels heavy and inescapable. This stage can come early or can arrive long after the world assumes you're doing better. And finally, there's acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that you're okay with the loss. It means learning to live with it. It means finding ways to carry the memory forward while still allowing yourself to move through life. If you're experiencing any of these stages, or all of them, or none of them, that's normal. Grief doesn't follow a schedule. It doesn't obey logic. It shows up in waves, and those waves change over time. What matters most is that you don't try to carry it alone. Talk to someone you trust. Share what you're feeling. And if the weight becomes too heavy, reach out to a crisis support line in your area. Both Canada and the United States have trained support. It's available 24/7 for anyone who needs someone to talk to. This podcast is about golf, yes, but it's also about life, resilience, and the moments that we shape us. So before we get into the gear and the game, I wanted to honor the reality that sometimes the hardest battle isn't on the golf course. They're inside us. And if you're grieving right now, I'm with you. Let's take this episode one step at a time. Today we're diving into something every golfer secretly loves. It's the What's in My Bag episode. Now, this isn't just a list of clubs. This is a breakdown of why I carry what I carry, the technology behind each piece, and how this setup supports golfers who are trying to improve. Whether you're grinding for lower scores or just trying to make solid contact more often. My bag is built around forgiveness, consistency, and confidence. I'm not chasing tour-level blades or exotic prototypes. I'm trying to build a system that helps me play my game. And that's something every golfer should think about. So today, we're going through the full lineup. The Ping 730 irons, the Ping 4G woods, driver, 3-wood, 5-wood, and my 7-wood. The Odyssey Jailbird putter, my wedge setup, a pitching wedge, U-wedge, 50-degree and 56-degree wedges. The TaylorMade paint splash balls, and the Ping Traverse bag that carries it all. Now let's get into the tech, the advantages, and how this setup can help any golfer build a more reliable game. Let's start with the top of the bag, the Ping 440 woods. These clubs are built for players who want distance and forgiveness without needing a tour-level swing. The G440 driver is all about stability. Ping uses a high MOI design. That's moment of inertia, which basically means the club resists twisting on off-center hits. For most golfers, that's huge. You don't need a perfect strike to get a playable ball. The fairway woods 3, 5, and 7 follow the same philosophy. The 7 wood, especially, is a secret weapon. It launches high, lands soft, and gives you confidence from rough fairways or even tight lies. A lot of pros have quietly added the 7 wood because they're easier to control than long irons or hybrids. For improving golfers, this setup does 3 things. Gives you height, higher launch equals more carry and softer landings. Gives you forgiveness, mishits still travel. Gives you options, different woods for different distances without forcing an uncomfortable swing. If you're trying to build consistency, these woods are like having a secret cheat code. The irons, Ping 730s, these are built for golfers who want distance, forgiveness, and confidence at address. Ping engineered these with a hollow body design and a thin, flexible face that means more ball speed, even when you don't hit the center. The lofts are strong, but the launch is high. So you get distance without losing stopping power. For improving golfers, the G730s offer wide soles that help you glide through turf instead of digging in, high launch that helps you hold greens, consistent distance gaps so you're not guessing, a big sweet spot that keeps your misses playable. From the 5 iron down to the pitching wedge, these irons are built to make games easier, and honestly, that's what most golfers need. Not punishment for small mistakes, but support that keeps the round on track. Now, the next thing we're going to look at, we're going to move into the scoring clubs, the wedges. This is where rounds are saved or lost. Your setup is smart. Pitching wedge, utility wedge, 50-degree gap wedge, and a 56-degree sand wedge. This gives you tight distances controlled from 130 yards in. The U wedge and the 50 fill the gap between your pitching wedge and your sand wedge, which is where most golfers struggle. The 56 degrees is your bunker club, your flop shot, you get me out of trouble club. The advantage of this setup is simple. No distance gaps, more shot options, more control around the greens. Most golfers don't realize how many strokes they lose inside 100 yards. A proper wedge setup is like having a toolbox instead of a single hammer. Now let's talk about the club that matters more than any other, the putter. I'm rolling with the Odyssey Jailbird. And this putter has a cult following for a reason. It's stable, balanced, and it frames the ball beautifully. The Jailbird uses the Odyssey White Hot insert, one of the most popular inserts ever made. It gives you a soft feel with a consistent roll, which is exactly what golfers need when they're trying to improve their putting. The big advantage here is forgiveness. The Jailbird's shape and weight distribution helps keep the face square through impact. That means fewer pushes, fewer pulls, and more putts starting on the line. If you're trying to get better at golf, nothing moves the needle faster than a putter that gives you your confidence. Now let's talk about the accessories, because they matter more than people think. I'm using the TaylorMade paint splash balls. These aren't just cool looking. The splatter pattern actually helps with alignment and visual feedback. When the ball rolls, you can instantly see if it's wobbling or rolling true. That's huge for putting practice. And the Ping Traverse bag, it's lightweight, durable, and organized. It's not flashy, but it's functional. Plenty of pockets, easy to carry, or strap it to your cart. It's built to last. For improving golfers, having a clean, organized bag reduces friction. You're not digging for tees, losing golf balls, gloves. Everything is framed and has a place. Keeps your mind on the game. So that's what's in my bag. A setup built around forgiveness, consistency, and confidence. The big takeaway in this is your equipment should support your game, not fight against it. You don't need blades or tour level drivers. You need clubs that help you hit more fairways, more greens, and more solid shots. The Ping Woods, the G730 irons, the wedge setup, the Jailbird putter, it all works together to make the game more playable and more enjoyable. If you're trying to improve, start with gear that gives you confidence. Build a bag that fits your swing, not someone else's. I want to thank you for listening. SandSafe Podcast. If you enjoyed this breakdown, share it with a golfer who's thinking about upgrading their setup. And that's always keep swinging, keep learning, and keep saving those rounds. Thank you. Please like and follow. Let's keep this going together. And I'm looking forward to the next segment. All right, everybody. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with something light on the light side. We've covered some meaningful ground today, from the emotional side of life to the gear that keeps you grounded on the golf course. So let's end with a laugh. This is our closing segment, something I like to call the final fairway funny.
So I show up at work on a Monday morning in July. I had a cast on both legs, a shiner, scratches on my face, and they could see I was in a lot of pain. A coworker walks up to me and asks me, "What happened to you? Like, you look horrible. Did you get in a car accident? What's going on?" So I said, "No, I was golfing with the wife on the weekend. Just a fabulous day. It started off just fantastic, where the weather was beautiful, the birds were chirping. We're probably having the best round of our lives. We're getting along really well. Then in the 18th hole, my wife slices her golf ball off into a farmer's field. So I decide, you know, I'll go look for your ball. So I hop the fence and I'm rummaging around looking for the ball. Then I see this cow. She's looking very uncomfortable. And I noticed every time she waves her tail, I could see something round and white. I thought to myself that it was very odd. So I walk over and lifted the cow's tail. And right there, nestled right in there, was a white golf ball. I pointed at it and said, "I think this one looks just like yours." And that's the end of the story. Bada boom.
Well, if that gave you a smile or you've got a golf joke that tops it, drop it in the comments. I want to hear the ones that you tell your buddies on the golf course, the ones that get the whole cart path laughing. I want to thank you all for listening. Thanks for supporting the journey, and I'll see you next episode. Until then, keep swinging, keep laughing, and keep saving those rounds.